Okay, today we're going to learn how to take your part files, the 3D files that we just created, and take it into what they call a drawing file. I call it a draft sometimes. Um, so we're going to learn that on how to do that. So go up here to New, and on here under Templates, you should see this IED title block. It's just some things that I've put together, um, title blocks to use in this class. So you should have that. If for some reason you don't, please come see me. I've put those all in there. At least I thought I did on all the computers. So hopefully they'll be there. For this project, there's two different size sheets that we use. The first one is 11 by 17. That's what you call an ANSI B style sheet. And then there's an A size, which is ANSI A, which is your normal letter size, 8.5 by 11. That's what we're going to use, the A size title block. So go ahead and double click that. And this shows you a preview of it and what it's going to look like. So let's go ahead and double click that. And then it's going to come up with I'll take a little bit, um, a place that you're going to fill out some stuff. Okay. Right here, it's looking for a logo. I used to have a Concord logo on there, but just do skip all. And it's going to give you possibly a styles conflict after this. Okay. And so on this one, I'm going to just zoom in here. Okay. This comes up, and what we're doing is we're filling out the title block. The title block is going to give you information, the part name, your name, the assignment, and whatever the scale is. I know ahead of time what the scale is going to be for these, so I'll give you that. Sometimes you have to go back and fill this in because you don't know exactly what scale you're going to use. And I'll show you how to do that also in case you don't fill this out. So the part name is going to be whatever, in this case, we're doing the puzzle cube. It's whatever the name of that is. So like in the case of this, I'm going to just put black part because I know one of my parts are. So we'll just put black part, whatever color yours is. Okay. And the name, that's your name. Just put your first initial and last name. A lot of times there's not enough room to put everything. Assignment, this is puzzle cube. So depending upon what the assignment is, if you're doing a certain drawing or something, like, if it's a whatever, this is where you put that in there. Part name is more of if you have multiple parts, like what we have with the puzzle cube, so black part, blue part, whatever colors those are. And then for this one, the scale, a lot of times, like I said, is you don't know it until you put it in there, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. But the scale for this one is going to be 1 inch equals 1 inch. So in other words, full size. Okay, so 1 inch, the inch mark, which is the quotations, equals 1 inch. Okay, and then you go ahead and go to OK, and then it's going to fill out the title block, which you'll see here in a minute. Here's a style conflict, like I told you, it's going to pop up. Just go to OK there. Don't worry about it. I'll zoom back out here. And then if you look, here's our title block down below. Okay, I've made these myself. Part name, black part, assignment is puzzle cube. Here's that scale, and then who draws it and what sheets these are. Okay, now we're gonna have multiple sheets, but we'll talk about that later and stuff. But if for some reason your scale, you don't know what it is until you put it in, which you'll see in a minute. What you do is you come over here to this in the browser bar, and if you expand new A size title block, you'll see field text, and if you double click that, that stuff will pop up again, and so then you can put those in that information. Okay, so that's that. Back out. All right. So here's our drawing sheet. Okay, I call it draft. Okay, it's where you put the different views: the front view, the top view, the right side view, and the isometric view. The nice thing about this is the first thing that comes up here when you say place views, we're going to place the front view here. Remember how we've always talked about the front view shows the basic shape of the object. Okay, and on some of these puzzle cubes, it could be anything. Any view could be the base because a lot of them have different shapes. Now, it's just a simple 2D shape, with an L shape or whatever, then that's easy to do. But What we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the base view. All right. And we're going to have this drawing view here. We'll pull this off to the side, kind of zoom out a little bit. And what we need to do is find the drawing. So where it says File, we're going to select the document, come here, open an existing file. Now, a lot of times what's nice is if you have it down here, you have it opened up, it'll probably show you, if you click this, it might show you a bunch of different files, whatever you have loaded up down here. Okay, so I'm just going to go to Open. Mine's already set up to, I created a folder called Puzzle Cube. I mean, it's a good idea when you guys are doing drawings in here, create folders in your Google Drive so that way you have it. And then you can save all the files underneath there. Because if you look at this, all the different things that I have, if I go in here to Inventor, I've got tons of stuff. Parametric modeling. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff. So I organize it that way. It's a good way to organize your stuff. So here's my puzzle cube. So you find it. And since this one's the black block, I'm going to choose the black block. Okay. Now here you see this view. This is just like what you have in Part. You know, you can move this around, get it to the angle. If you're not sure what view you're looking at, it usually comes up with front view. You can, click this, click these, move these around. I can choose the right, this back view. I can go between the different views, just kind of rotate it around. Okay. So if you did it right, okay, I'm going to say this is going to be my front view, and it happens to be the front view. Doesn't mean, depends on how you drew it, but that's what you want to get, is you want to get that front view, that the side of this object out of those 6 sides, which one shows the basic shape. Now, I could almost say that, that could be it, or the left, the right. I'm just going to say it's the front view right here, just the way it's set up. I'm going to choose that as my front view. Okay. So the base view means front view. Okay. So the base view means front view. Now you'll notice you've got, and now I'm going to zoom in on this, and notice your scale over here. This is where you can change your scale. I can come here and do 2 to 1. So it'd be twice the size. That's obviously too big. So I'm going to put it back to 1 to 1. I could go ½ inch, so it'd be half the size. That's obviously very, very small, so we don't want that. We can do 1. Now I could put in here 1.5, so 1.5 inches equals 1 inch. So I could type in 1.5, and notice it's 1.5 times bigger. Okay, but that's still probably a little bit too big. So you can change those scales. I'm going to just put it at 1 to 1. And I'm going to put this one, now this is where I'm going to do, as you see as you move your cursor around, it's giving you the different views. Here's an isometric view, right side view, left side view, top view, bottom view. Okay. All right. So we're going to put this top view, this isometric view, and this right side view. And you can see how it's going to look here. Okay. All right. Now, there's different styles that you can do in here. Like when you do the isometric view, it has hidden line removal. Okay, right here, it automatically does it that way. These are going to show hidden lines. You can do a presentation, a shaded drawing, like for this one right here, if we wanted to. You'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. But then once you get those 4 views, and we always usually want just the front, top, right side, and the isometric view. Then you go to OK. Then it's going to place those views. All right. Now, once you have those in, don't worry about them being too big, because you can move these around. All you have to do is notice when you come to one of these views, it highlights it, puts like dotted lines around it. All you need to do is, and then you'll see that little indicator move. I can sit here and move these, dragging. I'm dragging, so press and hold down left mouse button. I'm going to drag these in so I can. Now, if this ends up being, let's say this scale is wrong. Okay, screw up, like, if when I look at this one here, it's probably, if I need to dimension this here, I might run into some space issues and putting dimensions in. So let's say, for example, that you decide, oh, this is too big of a scale. So what you do is you come to this base view, okay, because everything, as you move this, notice all the other 2 views move. the top and the right side view. If you right mouse click this view and go to base view, okay, and it's got to be that front view, that base view. You can come back here and change the scale. Like, looks like I actually forgot to put it back to 1. Okay, so go, or if it, no, I guess I did have it there. So what you could do is you could do something smaller like 0.75, which is 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so you can change that. Okay, forget that. I had that wrong. Right mouse click. It's been a while since I've used this program. I've used it for the past 3 years. Don't go to base view, go to edit view. That's my fault. I was wondering why it wouldn't change. So you go to edit view, and then we can change the scale, to 1. And then when you do this one, it'll change the other ones. So go to OK, it'll change those. Now this one doesn't change. So what you have to do is go to that, right mouse click, edit that view, and put that to 1. Okay. I must have forgot to put it back to 1. Okay. So I could also change this if I wanted to. Go to edit view. I can change this to 0.75. That's 3/4 of an inch. Obviously, that's too small. Okay. It's really small. So we want it as big as we can without making it too small or too big. We got to have enough room. All right. So there we go. Now you can move this wherever you want. And now you can move this one, but I can only move it in this way because it's attached to this. So when I move this one, it moves everything. Okay, so it's important that you understand that. All right. Then once you get this in here, then you can dimension it. Just like what we practiced before. Now, in order to dimension, you got to go to this annotate up here. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few things with dimensioning, and then I'm going to show you how to do different sheets, because right now we got sheet one here, because we're going to do multiple sheets, because we're going to do one for each one of the parts, and then some other things later. So in order to dimension, you come up here to this dimension, and depending upon what you're doing, if you're doing a chain dimension, you can do this, but just to start off, just by doing this dimension tool. And then so like, okay, I got to dimension this right here. So what I can do is a couple ways I can, what you got to be careful of is, see how it gives you those snap points. I don't want to like snap to this end, that midpoint, and then dimension this, because it's going to just go from that point. So if I want to dimension this line, I just select that line, put that in. And then you'll notice that as you move this, it kind of snaps in. Okay, a certain distance away, it'll snap in. And if I go a little bit farther, it'll snap some more. Okay, so you want to go to that first snap point and put that dimension in there. Okay, now it'll come up with this. We can't really change this dimension, okay, because it's directly connected to this part file. Okay, so I tell the kids, just go ahead and get rid of edit dimensions, so that way this doesn't pop up all the time. Okay, let's say for example I want to do this overall width right here. So what I would do is I'd select this line, because I can't just select a line because it goes from here to here. So I select this line, and then it gives you the dimension because it's dimensioning that line. But I don't want that. I mean, I could want it, but put it over here. But I want to go to this, and so I set point on that line, and then I bring it out. Now notice there's a little snap point right there. You want to go to that next snap point beyond this one. Okay, so you put it there, put that one in. Okay, so I go another one. Let's say I got to do this height right here, this line. Select it, go to that first snap point, and then I want to do this overall height here. Okay, and then the nice thing about this is you start dimensioning it, go to that first snap point. If these dimensions are wrong, then what you may have to do is go back in and change that. So let's say, for example, right here, this 0.75, let's say it's messed up. Okay, so I'm going to get out of the dimension tool. Okay, I'm going to right mouse click this view. All right. And when I right mouse click this view, you're going to get a bunch of different things on here. Okay, we want to go to open. What that's going to do is it's going to open the part file. Okay, so that part file is going to come up, and let's say I think I'll just come back down here. let's say this is supposed to be uh, point 0.8, let's just say. So we got to change that to 0.8. So when I open that up, I got to look, find out which extrusion that is. And it looks like, I guess the way I did this is this extrusion right here, okay, is the way I did it. And so I right mouse click that and I can show dimensions, okay. And then it has to do with this 0.75 right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right here. That was how far I extruded it. So I could have, since I knew that, I could have also just did just right mouse click this, or even come out here, remember, and just select it. I can edit the extrusion. So the bottom line is I want to edit the extrusion. So I'm going to just change this to 0.8, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So I go to 0.8. And then that extrusion has been saved. Now, again, you might have to come up here to manage, and you might have to update it. Once you save it, now you got to make sure you save this. So make sure you save it, and then you go back to the draft, and then it should automatically change. But if it doesn't, then you may have to go back here to manage again and update all sheets, or just update. Usually it'll do it for you, but if it doesn't change right away, then go to manage, just like it is in part file, and you'd have to update it, but mine updated. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and change that back. Okay, so I changed that. All right, so that's how, if you start dimensioning this, that you realize, oh crap, I kind of screwed that up. That's not the right size. Well, you can always, like, if I start dimensioning this up here, so let's say I dimension this line here, go out to that first snap point, and I would dimension from here to there, go to that first snap point, and I find, oh, that's 2 point, it's not 2.25 because that's 3 squares long. I need to go back, and, I could, get out of the dimension command and right mouse click the view and go to open, and it'll open it up, and it'll bring this up, and then you can change it in there, update it, save it, and update it, and then it'll update it in the draft part. Okay. So anyway, so just to review, this right here, when you place the views, this is the base view. Base view is always the front view. Okay. And then you get the different views, make sure the scales about, so you can have some room for dimensioning. Follow the dimensioning rules, try to keep things in between these views. I could have put it out here, but I don't want to do that. Don't dimension hidden lines, make sure you know all of those um, rules for dimensioning. And so anyway, so that's that. Now, one other thing we've got, we've got the sheet over here. Okay. So we got the drawing sheet number 1. Okay. And we're going to put another one in here. Okay. So we're going to go to base view, or I'm sorry, my fault. Okay. So what we're going to do is come here to sheet 1, and we're going to create a new sheet is what we want to do. So what we do, sorry, wrong spot. Again, I'm still trying to remember. It's been a while since I used it. So right mouse click in an empty area and go to new sheet. Then you're going to be brought with this stuff. So we'll fill this out. I think I've got a red part, so I'm going to put red part. Okay. My name, first initial, last name. Okay, so I filled that all out. Okay. Then go to OK. I'll give you that same information, possibly. And then now it's going to be sheet number 2. So if you look over here in the browser bar, we've got sheet number 2. Okay. So that's how I get to the different sheets. If I want to go back to sheet 1, I just double click it. Go to sheet 1, go to sheet 2, double click it, and then I can put this base view in, choose the file. I can't remember if I had a red one or not. Yeah, I was wrong. I'll just put a green one in. And again, you go to OK. And then again, you've got this right here. Choose the correct front view. Okay, I'm going to choose that one. So we'll do that. And I'll put this there, put the different views in. Right view. And again, I can do more. I can put in all these. In fact, I'll just do that right here. do all these that I can do right here. And go to OK. See, I've got all these different views. Now I can always delete these. Just select it, with it highlighted there, and delete the view. Just don't want to delete this one because you do this, it's going to delete everything, okay, except for the isometric views. Okay, so I can delete all these views. Okay, and then you can move these and then dimension it. Okay, and basically that's it. And we're going to do that for all the 5 different parts. So we should have 5 different sheets. Now again, if you accidentally did not fill this information out, just come up here to where it says new A size title block, expand it, and you just go to, it's called field text that's in that title block that we created. Just double click that, and then you can fill that information out. Okay, so go ahead and do that for all your individual parts.